Story 1. I make good money, but I still fear that any item I take from a hotel minibar could financially ruin me. Story 2. Delivery. I have only ordered delivery 3 times in 5 years. Once when I had coronavirus disease 2019 and once for Chinese takeout when I was surprising my girlfriend. A $30 order can increase to $45 or even $60 because of tips for the cook and the driver, a delivery fee, and a convenience fee. Story 3. I am getting my nails done. I can file and paint them myself. Story 4. Extended warranties are usually a way for companies to squeeze extra cash. By the time you would use one, the item is often obsolete or the fine print excludes your problem. Story 5. Bags at a grocery store in states where plastic bags are banned. Story 6. Why should I tip for picking up my own takeout? I drove there and carried it to my car. Story 7. Porn. Entire generation of poor idiots who do not realize you can get that shit for free. Story 8. I can't bring myself to use DoorDash and similar services. I will either pick up food myself or make something at home. Story 9. I dislike the business model of food delivery services in which drivers must depend on tips. You should receive good service whether you tip or not. Story 10. Food delivery. I'm not paying for someone to deliver me food that is no longer hot and is not plated. I'll go out or get it myself. Story 11. Not that I have it, but if I did, I would never spend money on a Birkin. Story 12. Subscriptions to news articles. I will spend money on any online subscription, but I will not pay for something I will read only once. Story 13. Cosmetics in games. If I find myself even tempted, I know I should play something else. Story 14. OnlyFans. I'm lonely and somewhat desperate, but I'd never pay to see breasts. Story 15. YouTube Premium. I have been using YouTube for well over 15 years. I did not pay then and I will not pay now. Story 16. Cable television is expensive, offers many channels, and much of the programming is unwatchable. Story 17. Enhancing the way I look. No lash extensions, no Botox, no nail salon treatments, no tanning beds. Simple makeup, good skin care, and short, clean nails and toenails with no polish. I like to look natural and recognizable without makeup. I am comfortable being myself. Story 18. A premium vehicle is simply transportation. I do not go cheap, and I appreciate the standard equipment available today. But premium paint jobs, heated seats, and souped-up engines are not for me. I live in the South and have not been in a situation needing a heated seat. I realize in other areas that option might be more appropriate. Story 19. Baby turtles from street vendors, especially those with their shells painted. Story 20. In-app purchases. Delivery of anything in a town that is only 1.5 miles long. Clothing that costs more for the brand than for the garment. Story 21. Just about everything now. I don't mind paying for quality, but well-made items that will last no longer exist. Story 22. Boosting posts on social media. You can show my post to more people, but you refuse to. If I pay $10, you will only show it to 100 more people. Story 23. Designer t-shirts. Why would I spend $1,000 on a Louis Vuitton t-shirt? Story 24. Fancy coffee. I will buy drip coffee from wherever if I have to, but generally I just make it at home or at work. Story 25. I have insurance but refuse to go because of copays for minor issues. I am using home remedies. Story 26. I am buying a yacht mainly because I am too poor to afford one. Story 27. Anything Apple-related is a pass. Honorable mention. Delivery services. If I want food or groceries, I'll get them myself. Sorry, I do not trust a random person who hates their job to get something for me just because I'm too lazy to get it myself. Story 28. Getting money out of an automated teller machine incurs fees unless there is absolutely no alternative available. Story 29. Everything. Laughing out loud. When you are as poor as I am, I survive on practically nothing. Story 30. Walmart is a race to the bottom for products made overseas. Sam is rolling in his grave. Story 31. Infomercials. It does 100 things. For 4 easy payments of $39.99, you buy it and it sits in a box in the garage. You sell it at a yard sale for $10. Now it sits in someone else's garage. Story 32. When it comes to lawn mowing, it feels like everyone in my neighborhood hires a landscaping company. The lots are not big at all. Takes me 45 minutes to mow my property with a push mower. Story 33. I will not buy anything over $100. There are exceptions such as vacuums, blenders, refrigerators, and basic furniture. But a handbag? A controller? Makeup? Absolutely not. Story 34. I do my own nails using acrylics, ultraviolet gel polish, and charms from Amazon. I constantly receive compliments on them. Story 35. My biggest expense is convenience store items. They add up quickly over a year when you buy a couple of items every few days instead of planning better. Story 36. Some everyday items carry a ridiculous price tag solely because of brand clout. A few brands have earned it by offering exceptional quality. Most have not. I was at Williams-Sonoma the other day looking at casserole and baking dishes. A plain white baking dish was over $100 because it was from a French company that has been around for a long time, while a Williams-Sonoma pan was $25. Story 37. My best friend's sibling is trying to live a life of luxury on borrowed money they have never paid back. They are always asking for money but never asking my best friend if they are okay. I am not spending any money on them. Story 38. Full-price video games. Brand name food. Shit I can't afford. Story 39. Why would I pay more for cold, damp food from DoorDash or any other delivery service? I don't understand people who order hot food for delivery. Story 40. Bottled water. How can they charge us? Solar panels. Nobody owns the sun. Story 41. Hobby-grade remote control toys wanted $500 for a ready-to-go remote control dirt bike that was plug and play. What fun was that? Instead, I bought an old $20 Tyco remote control dirt bike on eBay. I gutted it and installed modern 2.4 GHz radio gear and a brushless motor and speed controller. After lots of tweaking and fiddling, it was faster around the local track than my buddy's $500 setup with modifications, and I had a lot of fun making it work. Story 42. Uber Eats membership. In the 3 to 4 years I have had the app, I maintained the membership for nearly 75% of that time and did not pay a single dollar for it. Each time I open the app, it offers a free 3-month trial. I cancel before it renews, and a few weeks later I open the app again and it offers another free 3-month trial. Story 43. Hair braiding. I will watch a million YouTube videos before I pay them. Story 44. I am 26 years old. I love meat and food, including steak, but I have never bought raw steak or ordered a cooked steak anywhere, and I probably never will. 99% of people cannot boil water. To me, ordering a steak is like buying a car. The server handles it in many ways, while bringing it to you, and it is the most expensive food someone can ruin for you. I do not gamble with food. Chicken is reliable even when it is messed up. An undercooked steak can get stuck in your teeth or partway down your throat and make you choke. There are so many things wrong with steak. And with steak people. It is the only food people claim is perfect in 101 different ways, from completely raw to completely charred, from unseasoned to dry-aged and mold-ripened, every inch covered in salt. I do not believe in it. I think most people have no idea what good steak is, or whether good steak even exists. Nobody argues that you should eat undercooked chicken because the bloody taste is exquisite or that you should let it mold on a hook for 3 months and then eat it raw. But when it comes to steak, any variation is hailed as perfect by critics. No steak for me. Story 45. I could happily go out for a night, spend a lot of money in bars and clubs, and when it came to getting home while my friends were all getting taxis, I would wait for the night bus. In some instances, I have even walked several miles home. To this day, I am still unsure why my aversion is so strong. Story 46. Those Steam games that cost about $20 but offer only an hour of content. Story 47. Coffee, cigarettes, makeup. Dad told me that I could buy those things when I had my own money. I will be forever grateful for that. Story 48. I have had a couple of cats, a bird, a snake, 3 lizards, and 2 dogs in my adult life. I am happy to spend money on their veterinary care, although I do what I can on my own to save money. I never purchased any of them. There are so many animals out there who need a home. Story 49. I do not like paying tolls on the highway, but I have to pay them because they are funded by our tax money. Story 50. I avoid shipping fees when I can. I have bought additional items to reach the minimum for free shipping. At least that money goes toward an extra item instead of just shipping. Story 51. I can comfortably live without animal products, and I do not want to invest in an industry that tortures and exploits living beings. Story 52. Games. For modern titles, it's ridiculous how much money they're asking given how bad these games are. For older titles, the developers do not make any real money from titles that are more than 10 years old. It is the middleman who cashes in. Also, any subscription-based online service is problematic. The fact that they can raise the price without notice, as YouTube did recently, or remove content from their platform just because they feel like it turns the whole business into a fucking scam. Story 53. Food delivery is a scam. Food prices are decent, but after delivery fees and tips my $30 meal is now $54. Pass. Story 54. Starbucks and other vices seem like a huge waste of money to me. Story 55. Physical copies of books or manga all end up sitting on shelves, collecting dust and will not be touched again. Nowadays I only buy ebooks. Story 56. Our society is full of people buying money in the hope of making more. A good example is cryptocurrency trading. Wall Street operates the same way. Story 57. Designer items. No, I'm not walking around with some so-called famous name all over my bags or clothes to advertise them for exorbitant sums of money. Story 58. I am a woman and I cut my own hair. I have been cutting my hair since middle school. My mother took me to great clips as a child, and I was never happy with the results. I figured that if it was going to turn out badly anyway, why pay for it? I am now in my late 30s and have considered going to a salon a few times, but I cannot justify the expense. If I am going to spoil myself, I would rather spend the money on something else. Story 59. Avoid credit card finance fees. Use the card regularly. Pay the full balance every month. Never miss a payment. Set up automatic payments. Story 60. Any tea served with a tea bag is just hot water and a tea bag, and it thinks it can cost me €5. Story 61. My partner and I always try the cheaper own brand products at a given supermarket. Only if the quality is not good enough, which does not happen often, do we choose the branded item. We can absolutely afford a fully branded shopping trip, but choose not to. Story 62. Whenever possible, I refuse to spend money on items whose price is far from their actual value. For example, eyeglasses made of a bit of plastic and metal sold for hundreds of dollars, even though production costs are minimal. The same applies to overpriced brand-name clothing or luxury items where you mainly pay for the logo. If the price does not match the real worth, I cannot justify buying it. Story 63. I will not buy anything extra in Call of Duty or in any video game. I will purchase the base game and downloadable content that adds new maps and similar features, but I refuse to buy cosmetic skins, blueprints, in-game currency, or other microtransactions. Story 64. The receptionist at my dentist's office takes the cup of pens off the counter when I walk in. Story 65. I prefer beverages because in Germany tap water has excellent quality. The taste depends on the region, though. I will probably spend less on drinking water each month than many people do. Story 66. Anything from Menards. Give me a fair price. Don't overcharge me and then make me beg for a refund. You're giving the store an 11% cut of your purchase as an interest-free loan. I'm not a charity, and they have the money so their kid can drive go-karts. Story 67. Any version of a video game that is not the standard edition. Story 68. YouTube Premium. Revanced on phones and uBlock on my personal computer, which is connected to the television, so I do not use the television operating system. Story 69. Delivery of ink cartridge printers and excessive subscription fees. Story 70. Games with subscription fees. If I have already paid for the game, I refuse to keep paying to play it. Story 71. Content creators of any kind earn enough from their advertisements and sponsorships. Story 72. Expensive clothes. Thrift and secondhand items from eBay are the way to go. Story 73. I cannot believe having to pay to pick my seat on a plane has been normalized. It used to be included in the ticket price. It is not a single fee. You must pay for each leg of the flight if you want to choose a seat. Hundreds more just for this privilege. No thanks. Story 74. Store membership. I'm not paying for the privilege to spend money. Story 75. Haircuts. The difference between a good haircut and a bad one is 2 weeks. Story 76. Any game in which paying a fee is or clearly becomes required to progress. Story 77. Birthdays. I stopped going when I was invited to a half-birthday party. I thought, what the fuck is this shit? That was it for me. I stopped buying anything special. I said, lick my nuts and I'll toss you something sweet. Story 78. My own health, if the last 20 years have anything to say. Story 79. I hate having to spend money on a house I do not own. My landlord is not great or proactive. I just spent £100 having the toilet flush repaired. Story 80. I have been cutting my own hair for 15 years. I am pretty good at it. For context, I am a woman with long hair that I cut into layers. Story 81. Fireworks might as well be lighting my money on fire. I don't see a difference. Story 82. Starbucks coffee. You're telling me people actually spend $4 to $6 a day on a coffee that I can make myself at home? You're not paying for the quality of the coffee, you're paying for the brand. Story 83. I will never spend money tipping for an order I am picking up or buying in store. A Mexican restaurant near my house has a tip option. What am I tipping for? I am not doing it. Story 84. Diet Coke for my dad. He drank it for breakfast every day for more than 20 years. A couple of years ago, he became upset about the rising price of soda and stopped buying it out of spite. Story 85. Labubu, Sunny Angels, and other similar collectible toys and figurines would eventually end up collecting dust in a corner of my house. Story 86. Going to the movies. I'm not spending $20 to sit next to people who have no decency or manners, especially parents who bring noisy, unruly children or people who bring entire to-go meals and who have no sense of personal hygiene. I do not want to watch a movie I may not like while feeling like a prisoner who has to smuggle in snacks to avoid spending another $50 on candy and a drink. Story 87. I steal tampons from work. They should be free. Story 88. I refuse to spend money to use laundry machines. I will pay for detergent and other supplies, but I will not go to a laundromat. Story 89. For me, it's those overpriced bottled waters. I just can't justify it. Story 90. Food and grocery delivery platforms. I will go out and get whatever I need myself. Story 91. Haircuts. My dad always had me looking good. But once I found the love of my life, I had no need for them anymore. Laughing out loud. Either Wolverine or a skinhead. Story 92. Bottled water. My family's well water tastes pretty good. But there is also a natural spring nearby that tastes amazing. Story 93. I will tip a driver but pay a delivery fee? No. A driver told me that they do not receive that fee. I gave him $20, and that was the last time I ordered from any place with a delivery fee. DoorDash, Uber Eats, and similar services lost my business. My niece pays DoorDash for a single Starbucks drink. $7 becomes $12 to $13. She pays for convenience. Story 94. I often wonder how many people subscribe to a service, forget about it, and keep paying for it for the rest of their lives. Story 95. YouTube Premium, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and subscription services for software such as Microsoft Word. Sex. Story 96. I drink tap water or well water. I reuse water bottles. Story 97. I can get it myself. I have a car and my legs work. I do not like old, cold food that has been driving around for 45 minutes. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.